Wow. Gosh, if I didn't know better, I'd think y'all were Southern. Hello, Los Angeles! It is so great to be here in person after 2 years. Isn't it good to see each other? And I'm not saying that because it snowed all day in DC. Not saying that. I just want to thank you all so much for being here tonight. And special thanks to our dinner chairs, Sue Lavakari and Sandy Blass, for bringing us together. I certainly know how much work it takes from our volunteer leadership to put on a dinner, and you guys did a fantastic job. I also want to thank the members of our HRC Board of Governors that are based here, Nam Lamb, Sandy Bass, Sabrina Robinson, and Kevin Berry. And our members of our HRC Board of Directors that are based in Los Angeles, Gwen Baba, James Costas, Brian Michael Smith, and Aaron Walton. And along with members of our Board of Directors from Orange County, Dan Slater, and from San Diego, Lane Rackney. Our emeritus board members, Chris Boone, Paul Thompson, Andy Linsky. I want to thank all these incredible leaders for years of incredible leadership at HRC. And thank you, Aaron, for the dance, and thank you for that incredible introduction. So yes, I'm Joni Madison. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the interim president of the Human Rights Campaign. I've been fighting for LGBTQ plus equality at HRC since 2000. And to give you perspective on exactly how long ago that was, Gladiator was the blockbuster hit of the year. Survivor took over our TVs, and lots of us were buying and then losing our first iPods. So tonight, if you'll indulge me just a bit, I want to share how I got started and what keeps me going. In the late 90s, my wife Gina and I were invited to an HRC dinner by a dear friend, a dinner that's not very different from tonight, especially now that 90s fashions are making a comeback. The speakers that night were truly inspiring as they laid out plans to achieve real, immediate change, not 15 years down the road, but change right now. Then a few months later, we went through the 2000 presidential election where George W. Bush used our community as a wedge issue. And when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Bush, I was absolutely furious. I ended up asking a friend who was a member of the HRC board to meet me for dinner. And that night, I talked about how angry I was, these ideas I had about organizing in North Carolina. Well, he called me the next day. And he told me that I needed to take my anger and turn it into action. Well, he didn't need to tell me twice. And for the next 22 years, working alongside many of you, I put my time and money where my desire for change was. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. Now, 22 years is a long time. But in the scope of our nation's history, it's actually no time at all. Which is why it's even more remarkable that in these 2 decades, building on the work of generations before, we have achieved historic progress for our community. From Bostock to Hollingsworth versus Perry, a case led by a champion of equality in the room tonight, HRC's own Chad Griffin. We have won landmark victories at the Supreme Court. And now we're on the verge of seeing the first Black woman, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, join the Supreme Court bench. We have more LGBTQ plus lawmakers in office more than ever before. And we're closer than ever before to making the Equality Act the law of the land. I'm so proud and so grateful to have been part of these incredible wins with my incredible HRC family. It's actually not an overstatement to say that together, we have truly changed the course of this nation. But unfortunately, progress isn't a plaque you can stick on a wall. Progress is a promise we keep to ourselves and to the ones who come after us. In 2022, we have a lot of important progress to deliver, and the challenges are incredible ahead. Across the country last year, we saw a wave of hateful bills targeting trans and non-binary kids. This year, it's even worse. This week, Florida legislators passed a law that would make it illegal for me to say LGBTQ+ in a Florida classroom. Think about it, illegal. Imagine you got a second grader, and your child comes to you and says, "Mommy, the teacher yelled at me today." And you say, "Why, baby?" "Because I told her I had two moms." What kind of message is it sending to our children that their parents, that their siblings, that the most important people in their lives are too shameful, too dangerous for them to even talk about? They are trying to erase our families, and they're trying to erase our kids. I came out to my English teacher when I was 16 years old. She was the one adult in my life I felt that I could trust. Coming out to her didn't just change my life, it saved my life. I was drowning, and she held out a hand and gave me a reason to hope. As I look around this room tonight, I imagine many of you have similar stories. How many amazing young people are we going to lose because they had no one to turn to? Last year, Arkansas, Tennessee passed laws making it illegal for kids to get life-saving care. Now, Governor Abbott in Texas is not only trying to make this care illegal, he's trying to prosecute parents as child abusers. Families in these states have had to pick up their entire lives and leave so their kids could get the care they deserve. One Texas parent told me, "I am choosing to mourn my home rather than mourn my child." But there are families in these states that don't have the option to leave. There are kids in these states who have no place to go. There are young LGBTQ people across the country tonight wondering what they're going to do, and they're wondering what we're going to do to help them. The trans community, particularly Black trans women, already face an epidemic of violence, an epidemic fueled by transphobia, racism, misogyny. And you know what? These lawmakers are pouring gasoline on a wildfire. They're trying to make it impossible for us to even exist. These same bad actors are attacking our reproductive rights and the rights of Black and brown people to participate in democracy. Now they're trying to take that choice away. They're coming for our children, they're coming for our families, they're coming for our votes, they're coming for our bodies, and they're coming for our lives. From coast to coast, Republicans have been basically copying and pasting their way through a playbook of hate. Anti-trans sports bans started in Mississippi. They passed in Utah and Indiana. Now they're being considered in South Carolina and Kentucky. Florida's Don't Say Gay or Trans bill is heading to Governor DeSantis' desk. Similar bills are being considered in Tennessee, Kansas, Indiana, and Oklahoma. They're not going to stop in Tennessee. They're not going to stop in Texas. They're not going to stop in Oklahoma. They're not going to stop in Indiana. They're not going to stop unless we stop them. And we must. I have to be honest. I'm angry as hell tonight. I'm mad as hell. And I know I'm not alone. Are you angry? Well, let me hear you. We should be angry. We should be infuriated. But as my friend said to me all those years ago, we can't just be angry. We've got to get to work. Now, we've all ticked the first box, which is showing up. Just by showing up, you make a difference. But to turn the tide, we can't just show up. We have to ramp it up. We have to ask ourselves, our friends and our families some very important questions. Are we registered to vote? Are we taking our friends to the polls? Are we phone banking? Are we knocking on doors? Are we having the tough conversations about who is benefiting from our laws and institutions and who is left behind? I see so many advocates in this room tonight who have been taking their anger and turning it into action for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And we're showing up when and where and how they ask us to. I see so many business allies in this room. Businesses have been a major force in our fight for LGBTQ rights, from marriage equality to the defeat of HB2 in my home state of North Carolina. How are you showing up right now when lives are actually on the line? You may have seen earlier this week that HRC is not going to take any funding from Disney until we see them take real action to defeat hateful legislation in Florida. You may have also seen that 36 hours later, Disney's CEO, Bob Chapek, apologized to his employees and committed to suspending all political giving in Florida. I was glad to speak to Bob yesterday afternoon, and we had a very productive conversation about the need for Disney to put real muscle into stopping what's happening to their employees and to their fans. We need Disney's partnership in getting the bills heading to DeSantis' desk vetoed. And if that doesn't happen, to get those bills repealed. But this is not just about Chapek and Disney. This is about every CEO and company in America, because it's time to do a gut check. And especially here in California. The tech companies and entertainment companies here who have an influential presence across the country and around the world have an important role to play in fighting state-sanctioned discrimination wherever it exists. We need more inclusive employment policies and a clever pride campaign? I don't think so. We need CEOs to be taking actions that meet the moment we're in right now. Yesterday morning, over 60 major businesses joined us in an open letter condemning Governor Abbott's attacks in Texas. Now, this is a crucial step by the business community, but we need this to be the start of their advocacy, not the end. To all of our friends here tonight from Hollywood, you are the storytellers of America. The art you create changes not only just how people see the world, but how they see themselves. You have helped so many young people see that there is a place for them anywhere they want to be. Your voice is prophetic. Your voice is powerful. Now we need you to use it to speak out directly for our kids and for our entire community. And whether your company makes movies or is leading the field in manufacturing, we need you to make clear that the hateful rhetoric and legislation we are seeing is not only bad for business, it's demeaning and unacceptable for your LGBTQ employees, customers, and vendors. We need your corporate values to be more than marketing materials. They must be guiding principles in how you show up for the most marginalized. I promise you, states' lucrative tax laws won't matter much to your employees and customers who are being criminalized for supporting their kids and being pushed back into the closet by the legal system. We need you to be there for us when it's hard and when it counts. We are at a tipping point, much like the one we saw in 2016 with HB2 in North Carolina. The right thought they could use us as a wedge issue. And after joining our sign-on letter, businesses followed up their statements with actions. They refused to expand business in the state. They pulled out of conferences. They canceled events. This moment feels like that moment. That same tipping point where bad actors finally realize that if you come for our community, we're going to hit you where it counts. In the wallet, in the war chest, and at the ballot box. But the thing about tipping points is that they can go either way. That's why we need every single person in this room tonight to help us tip the balance toward justice, towards equality and equity and hope. Because we're not here to just play defense, we're here to pass the damn Equality Act. We're here to elect leaders who believe in the power of democracy, a multiracial democracy, a democracy that delivers on its promises. We're here to transform our systems so that they truly serve us all and empower the next generation to carry the fight forward. Yes, we've got a lot of work to do. So we need to ask ourselves tonight, what are we going to do to put our money and our time where our anger is? My friend, there is power in our anger. And we have so many powerful forces on our side. We have love. We have unity. We have community. Our beautiful LGBTQ plus community. Too bad, Florida. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Lesbian. Gay. Bisexual. Trans. Plus. All of the amazing folks out there who are part of our beautiful rainbow family. And that family is not just people who love like us or identify like us. It's all the people who believe in liberation and who are willing to get their hands dirty to get there. If you are here tonight, you are family. If you are here tonight, you are loved. If you are here tonight, you're home. And we're not going to stop till all people in this nation and around this world are safe and loved and free. Thank you.